Good afternoon, everybody. I am here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon with the lovely Angela Vincent, who is a hypnotherapist with Natural State Hypnosis. So we've been having a little bit of a chat about how we can help people with their health during these uncertain times. And I've seen Angela myself for hypnosis around sleep issues. So if you know me at all, you know I've had my battles with sleep, which is just one way that hypnosis can help you. So I'm just going to hand this over to Angela, who is going to first just fill us in on what is hypnosis and how it can help you.
Hi. Sunday afternoon. Well, thank you for having me on. This is lovely. You'll be seeing a bit more of me live, I think. It's kind of the time, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
Motivation and just finding a way for us all, not necessarily just as women, but just as people, to be able to turn down that valve. It's where the energy we put in one place is all sort of coming back to us at the moment. So hypnosis is really helpful at this time. Self-hypnosis and this beautiful skill that we can learn. Sometimes it does need somebody else to sit with you and to learn the skill, or to give you the confidence to know that you're in the right place when you do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
So what is it? This wonderful heightened state of awareness. So in meditation, this wonderful thing that felt so far off for most of us once upon a time, we're getting closer to that. We've got mindfulness now, which shows us different acts and different habits we can use in a day to bring us back to a calmer place. With hypnosis, it's allowing somebody else to bring you to that place quite quickly, with a kind manner and a nice way to, there's a lot of trust involved in it. But it's just resetting the mind so that we can focus completely on that thing that feels so elusive. And for me, it was insomnia too, interestingly enough. That's how I first was introduced to hypnosis. Mine was through my nursing, when I'd flipped my sleeping upside down, and it really was. I was in a real pickle too, so I appreciate your situation. So just being able to use a set of skills where we are hyper aware for a moment in time. We can imagine in our mind's eye a story. For some people, many people that come for hypnotherapy start with, you know what, I'm such a busy head, I don't even know if I can be hypnotized. That anxiety and that sense of busyness, like it just seems so elusive. So they're usually the people that more quickly move in, because their minds are so exhausted from this not achieving 100% in everything, this perfection state. And when the reality is we're not going to. And so it's a set of practices, and we allow you to just still the mind so that the body feels safe and the mind feels safe to just hear a story. There's a lot of storytelling that happens in it. It's often the way that most of us work is that we get to know the person, and we will create a story that suits their model of the world, so that it's more familiar for them to be able to trust that this seems like something safe for me. We use really lovely language. So just calming the body so it's not in that fire state of flight and panic, and just being able to slow the words and turn the emotions down so that we can just be rationally hearing a story about ourselves that is actually the better part of us wanting to get out. And do what it
Yeah.
does.
I think I had this story with Angela. We started our process by Angela, who I knew vaguely, but really not very well at all, but she seemed nice, which was enough to get me through the door. But we
Yeah.
started with just talking about what kind of person I was, and what were my drivers and so on, and the need to be high achieving, and being part of a high achieving group came out, which I didn't realise that was an issue with my sleep. And I just remember this suggestion that you made during my first session, and it was you can read all you're going to read, but there's always more to know. And I just thought, there is. Sometimes you've got to be happy with what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of a permission to say, like, you're never going to get this ultimate knowledge.
Yeah, and it does hurt a bit, doesn't it? There are moments where where do you pause and say, look, I'm doing great work.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I am enough.
Enough. So you've put together a program titled Hypnosis for Health and Reducing Anxiety. Tell us a bit about this program you've put together.
Well, it came about because of, a need to get the information out, knowing that everything's changed. Goodness. And I'm a nurse as well, so I'm very aware of all those people on the front line. I'm not working in that space at the moment, but there's the absolute possibility that may come to be if I'm needed. But it just reminded me that in the space that is clinical hypnotherapy and what I do in hypnosis, there's so much of it is a link back to our health, whether we're not motivated enough, or we're eating the wrong foods, or drinking the wrong drinks, or whatever it is, we're not sleeping well enough. What is it? Like, it's our health and wellness, well-being, I guess, is so tied into our routines, or what isn't routine. I was happily gliding along in a chaos of a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old and 1.5 jobs and small business, and so with hubby changing jobs, so there was so much movement, and it never felt fluid. It was busy, and now we've gone, oh, I'm like, I can breathe, and I'd been praying for all this, I just need more time in my day. We're all talking about that. Well, we've got it now, and I don't think it didn't feel as luxurious, and the enjoyment wasn't what I expected. So
yeah,
it came about. So it's 10 slides. It's a PowerPoint, just giving some simple strategies of what is hypnosis, and that is just that super awareness, daydreaming, watching a movie, having an emotional response to something that isn't actually a reality. That you're not the character in that movie, but you're acting as if you are. So bringing all of those simple skills and that knowledge into a small little snippet of slides it's really for the lay person. So it's not highly technical. They're quite quick tips. You can go off and find more information about things if you want, about the history of it. But it is just reminding us that we've got all sorts of little tools in our little box of goodies. And these are some that bring us back to, well, we have a bit of space now. Yes, we could be more motivated, but we're doing okay. That actually these moments of pause are an opportunity for us to build up this mind muscle, this stillness sense that I am enough. And so they've come to be, and it'll be made available. It's a free little resource, and I'll have an MP3 that'll come with it, which will they're never more than 15 minutes, and it's just headphones in and press play, and it's just a self-hypnosis recording that people can listen to.
Lovely. That's very generous.
Oh, yes, it's perhaps for me as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of trainers are you know, like in my space, where a lot of us are putting up free stuff because our own purpose has diminished with the COVID crisis, with our, you know, we're dealing with less clients and so on, and
Yeah.
it's sort of like you can do nothing for anyone.
Yeah.
Just go to ground, or you can just keep throwing stuff out there and being a bit helpful.
And that's the thing, I think, isn't it? That when we come from being a big, fast output and then having these gaps, I think this came quite quickly for me too, because my business went from, you know, full books to a big pause. And it has changed dramatically, without a doubt. It's different. People don't know that their money is coming in as frequently, or if it's going to stop. And so I'm doing business differently, much like you. We're very much online now.
Yeah, so you can take, so if someone wanted to talk more about hypnosis, they could actually make contact with you, and they could do this hypnosis process online. I assume. Yeah, because
exactly,
it's still
like we are now,
isn't it? It is face to face. Yeah.
We've always known we've got the capacity to do it, and we've certainly got, you know, there are hypnotherapists that have only ever really done it via online, and we know that it was something that we just weren't communicating well enough. Telehealth is it's going to be such an incredible resource once coronavirus has settled down. So yes, it's very, very effective, just as effective.
Yeah, yeah. I have a question for you, because I'm seeing this a lot on Facebook, and these aren't necessarily my clients, but they're people who are following me one way or another, and that is the even for seasoned exercises, there seems to be, oh, I'm fattening up, you know, like I'm not eating.
Oh, yes.
I'm drinking more often.
Yeah.
How could hypnosis help in that situation, do you think?
Yeah, just maintaining the motivation we had before. And for those people, and I think that for you in particular, I remember it being like, if you hypnotize me, am I going to become slower in everything I do? And that's, you know, I don't want to turn it down with every part of my life, but
yeah,
and I absolutely agree that at the moment the fridge is so much closer. There are frustrations, and, you know, wine o'clock is coming sooner, and that space of getting your exercise in it just seems it's been fused a bit while we're all starting to find our new rhythm.
Yeah.
And I think that the priority is this self-care space. And
Yes.
I find these two words, self-care, I don't know, I think I haven't found the right word for it. But it is like, it's nurturing and nourishing this body. So seeing it as that organic unit that it is, that growing pot plant, as I use in hypnosis, that we don't overwater that plant, it'll die. Like, you know, just these things of just going, okay, what is it for me? What is, for a lot of people, it's a simple thing, and I can't think of a name, the 5-second rule, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go or stop, depending on what that one is. It's really effective. There's just moments where even getting out of bed, and that's one that I know that the armed forces use when they've got to get out at 4 in the morning. It's just, you know, a simple tapping on the head to realign the body and wake it up, reminding ourselves that we are going to have those moments of wavering, and it's okay not to beat ourselves up. And I think that's what's great about hypnosis is, for most people, they say, if we're taking away the chocolate, for example, it's like there's it's not such an acute craving and almost a pain. It's just you know what, I'm negotiating with myself, and today I'm going to have that chocolate, but I'm not going to be that torn person for the next 3 days because I broke at that point on that day.
Yeah.
So we can use it in the other way as well. If we exercise for 26 days out of the 31, if that was the plan that we were going to do every day in April, we're going to be home every day, we'll exercise every day. Well, let's put some reality into it and say, okay, well, actually 26 days is great. So that on that one day and maybe that second and third, we're still feeling pretty solid in ourselves.
Yeah, it's not setting that goal too high, is it? Because if we set the goal too high, we get disappointed. But if we are a little bit more moderate with that goal setting, then we're less disappointed. And you can always, you can still go for that every day, but the goal is a little more kind.
It's just to be aiming for every day. But knowing at the end of the day that you are not worthless because of that particular event not occurring.
Yeah.
So in regards to using it in the other way of motivating us each day, it is using the breathing techniques to keep our anxiety down. So longer on the out breath is a really good one. Helps us to focus with a bit more clarity. So breathing in through the nostrils, longer on the out breath, just turns down the fiery side of us that says, I haven't got time for that, that won't happen. It's like, okay, well, it can happen. It'll just be 20 minutes today, not 30.
Kind.
Yeah. To ourselves, that little
Let's
head.
Start with ourselves.
Yeah. Doing what we do for others. And it's, we're all living it, aren't we? We know that it's a practice.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, is there anyone that hypnosis is not suitable for?
Yes. Yeah, that it is. There is there's one group of people. So if someone has a history of schizophrenia, bipolar, certainly not well managed. If they're in a hyper space in particular, it's a no-go zone really, because we are giving them some great imagination, some really good visuals, but if their mind is too speedy, they could be in a paranoid state as well. So for any kind of calming of the mind, it can actually make the talk more livid, more more dangerous really, and so it's not ideal for people like that. If with depression, when we talk about the nurse in me, if you're medicated, like we can see people with depression. There's the research is now saying that it's just as effective for a mild depression to have hypnotherapy or any of the psychotherapies, and hypnosis in particular. When it comes to the moderate space and the severe, where they may be, needing a huge amount of support, then it gives them one more resource. But it's we work with a team of medical professionals when we're working with people in that space.
Yeah. And I guess that comes as a bit of a surprise to people, because it's, from the person looking in, it sounds like it's just calming the farm, and,
yeah,
who would have thought that could trigger something?
Yeah, it is. We want to make sure we're nurturing and keeping people safe. So that is something that we will always ask as we meet someone if they have a history, and we do some pretty rigorous assessments as we go through just with the talking therapy.
Sure. Angela, have you got anything else people need to know?
As far as I think that a lot of people that feel like they may not be that person that can be hypnotized, just remembering that for some people, and I use this as an example most of the time, is the family's just gotten home, so I can hear their birds saying hello. So we might have to wait for her to calm down for a few minutes. So it is like mindfulness. It's a learned skill, and for a lot of people that have practiced meditation or mindfulness habits, that it feels more comfortable for those people. But generally, it's quite exponential in the way that it works. So it's really helpful to see someone for up to 3 sessions, just because it kind of cements it in, and people really build a confidence. And we want people not just to come for 1 session to get rid of something in their life. We want them to develop the skill that they can use when other things come up in their life. So that's the reason if somebody says, they say that they can only do it for 6 sessions and things like that. With things like irritable bowel syndrome, it's really effective to ease those symptoms.
Okay.
But we want people to be reintroducing foods, and so we weather them through those points as well. So there are different reasons and the different rationales to why we would suggest 1 session, 3, 6. They're kind of the numbers that we use.
Yeah.
And for mentoring and coaching, of course, there's more depending on what someone's going through.
Yeah. So I guess just in conclusion, thank you very much for sharing what you've got there, and these resources. I think if we put some links in the comments to the resources.
Yeah.
And we'll both be putting those out on our Facebook and social media places. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Shall I take you through a 5-minute little exercise?
Really?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So we might have to use my bird as the anchor because she's going to be riveting me. All right, so just find that lovely position where you're still, you're steady. So for people, I quite often use the ears to the shoulders. So your chin kind of comes in a bit, and you square up your head, and your bottom kind of wants to nudge a bit forward in that position. So for those that do yoga, you don't have to have any of these skills. It is just about sitting in a position that's comfortable, that feels steady. And when you do this, it's also noticing at any point, if you feel like that arm needs to move slightly to the left, you can do that too. There's no point where you need to sit perfectly still. The aim of the game in particular is to calm that breath, and it will tell the body that it's okay to pause. So bringing that breath in through the nostrils, perhaps you can focus on which nostril has more of the breath than the other, and perhaps you can switch to the other one. See if we can balance the two together. And let that out breath be almost like a sigh, just heavier. This is information that comes through the body, which will consciously tell our mind. Our mind will tell our brain, the particular motor, the organ, rather, the engine of this body, that we're getting information that we're calming the body. And as that first signal comes in, we're drawing in more oxygen into those cells through the lungs, and of course the heart beating that around the body through the arteries and the veins, returning it. But we're also expelling more carbon dioxide. You see, we can't be running from a saber-toothed tiger when we're breathing in through our mouth, rather our nose. It's when we're sucking in that breath through the mouth and the nose all together, and it's almost that pursed lips that our body becomes rigid, and we do start to worry that something's coming our way. So we expel the air, longer on the mouth breath out. And that sign with those nostrils is a significant invitation for the body to return to the parasympathetic nervous system, or rest and digest. Calm, clarity. And if you study, this is where we need this body to be. We need this body to be easily and freely taking information in from the skin, the nose, the nostrils, sight, smells. Everything about this moment can be hyper realized. So now we're going to send some information to the eyes. I want them to look up to the sky behind those eyelids. Really tense them up like you would your body if you're, tensing the muscles, and you could do that even at the moment too. And as I count down from 10 to 1 and then 0, on 0 you can just drop them down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Relax. And this is a space where you can be guided through your imagination. You can imagine yourself going down to that beautiful garden at the end of your backyard. Perhaps there's a wonderful hedge and a fence, and on the other side are the most amazing tropical flowers, ferns, all of that wonder. Whatever you would imagine, perhaps it'd have the most magnificent waterfall too. Hearing the sounds of the birds even, funnily enough. And just allowing the body to completely encompass that, the warmth of that experience. Whether it's tropical, maybe it's just a bit warmer, however this body perfectly experiences this. It's incredibly comfortable. It's a space of harmony, of potential and opportunity. That in that space you can create your tomorrow, today. And maybe you'll want to come out of it and you'll want to write a note and you'll want to remember some magical thoughts you had in there. And you can build on those tomorrow. But what you notice is if you look at this body in this space, it's lean, strong, celebrating all of those parts of this person, this woman, this man, this child, this teenager, just celebrating all of the great bits. The courage it's taken to make it to this point and then some, to take you to the next point, whatever that may be. So thanking all of those parts for allowing this body to come into this place at this time. And you know you can come here anytime you count down from 10 to 1 and then 0, simply using that word relax will be enough to drop you into that place. So I'm going to count you back up. We'll count up to 10 this time. When I say 10, you'll feel rejuvenated, replenished, re-energized, revitalized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Opening the eyes and having a stretch.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. How long did that take?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think that was 7 minutes. So we did that one in, it was a good amount of time.
Yeah, it felt like I was gone for hours.
Yeah, it's just, and I was, your beautiful picture behind you. It was so easy for me to find that image.
Yeah.
And I could see the most magnificent, beautiful flowers. They were, vast. I've never been to a tropical forest, but I imagine.
Well, when you were saying that, I was thinking what's out the back, so I had to really visualise because there's, it's winter, so there's no flowers.
No flowers.
I'm gonna pop some flowers in there.
Yeah, I better throw one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So that'll be, really there won't be much more than that in the recording, but we'll put it together and you'll be able to listen to it for whoever would like to.
Lovely. And when will it be available?
That'll be available this afternoon, so we'll put it on our page.
Smoking.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. Joe Cordell-Cooper and
Natural State Hypnosis. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Come and like my page. I'll be putting some information on.
Cool. All right, sweetheart.
Take care.
Oh, hang on. Oh gosh, I'm hitting the wrong button.